pretty sure recycling isn't real. Okay. Is it AI generated? I don't know. I don't know. Shout out to David. I don't know how to say his last name. I'm not even gonna attempt. First time I ever seen him. Right. I saw this one pop up on my FYP. I was like, all right, I gotta hear this one out. So I will. He will. We do officially now got a link in here in the description below. So hit the link. Follow up on all the socials. If you'd like to subscribe to David, sure he makes great videos. Like the video and subscribe. Let's get into it.
Real quick, before we start, you're gonna have a number of questions while watching this video, and 9 times out of 10, the answer to that question is either going to be technically or money. So I'm just gonna read.
I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't real because of the fact of the matter we've all seen, and I've tested this theory out. It is true. We've all seen the trash cans that are recycling X, Y, and Z in the trash, and it's just one big bin. It's like, well, you got me, right? I was gonna be nice. I threw it in the recycling bin, and it's just all going to the landfill. Okay.
Use this clip every time that comes up. So let's get into it. But again, remember, it's always technically or money. Hello. I'm wearing a lab coat that I stole from my sister who's a nurse, which explains why it's one size too small. The reason I'm pretending to look scientifically qualified is because a few weeks ago, I set out to make a simple video about the history of reducing, reusing, and recycling. But the more reports I read, videos I watched, and red yarn I purchased, the more I realized this is a deeply complicated issue. But surely the title is clickbait. I mean, recycling obviously exists, right? Technically? But the reason it's such a mess is due to the very material that popularized recycling in the first place. Plastic. Plastic is so interesting for all the wrong reasons. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that plastic waste is a problem, but the way we got here, and the reason you view it the way you do, is the direct result of decades of misleading claims, unrealistic promises, and propaganda from big plastic. That's a real thing. I'm telling you right now, this one's gonna be a bummer. I've never liked chemistry because it's the one science you can't see, and because I have the reasoning ability of a 12-year-old boy, if I can't see a thing, I tend to believe it's not real. We all know that plastic is made from oil, yet none of us know how. Prior to writing this, I couldn't even imagine how that works. As far as I can understand, when you extract oil from the ground and you refine it, the product that you're looking for is called methane. It's the primary gas that your stoves use. We burn it for like energy and stuff. It's really valuable. But one thing you get when trying to get methane is its less popular brother, ethane. And this is a byproduct of the process. Ethane is gonna be there whether you like it or not. And for a while, that's just the way that ethane was seen. It's just one of the things that you get when you're digging up oil. But in the late 1800s, it was discovered that you could use it to make this weird substance. It was this white, waxy material discovered by German chemist Hans von Pechmann. His colleagues named it polymethylene, also known as polyethylene, also known as plastic. Now, this discovery was an accident, and at the time, there wasn't really much you could do with it commercially. But in 1933, British company Imperial Chemical Industries, great name, accidentally discovered a way to synthesize this industrially. And the result was a material unlike the world had ever seen.
Hey, I'm kind of shocked that I did not know plastic was made. Like, I don't know. I wasn't expecting. I never thought that deep into plastic and realized how it was made. That's actually pretty interesting to know. I would have never known. If someone asked me, you know what plastic's made from? No. I don't know. I just throw it in the trash can.
Polyethylene was everything you wanted it to be. It was strong, it was lightweight, it was flexible, it was heat resistant, and most importantly, it was cheap. It might not seem impressive today, but at the time, plastic was viewed like the material of the gods. It could be clear like glass, but it didn't break when you dropped it. It was lighter than metal, less flammable than wood, sturdier than paper. You could color it, make it look like any material you wanted. It was easier to clean, it was easier to transport. It was cheap, it was durable, and thanks to injection molding, it was easy to mass produce on a large scale. This material could be used for everything. And due to metal shortage in World War II, the manufacturing of plastic became really big in the 40s. And since it was already in high production, when the war ended, there was an explosion of new plastic products to choose from.
Plastics take their rightful place in a world at peace. The future will bring plastic fabrics, wondrously fine, yet resistant to wear, wrinkles, and stains.
Saran wrap, squeeze ball.
Dude, I always love watching, I like watching, sorry, wrong word choice there, but I love watching, let's just run with it. I love watching these old commercials because it's like you see the evolution of time. It's like, dang, wow, you guys were getting plastic stuff. Now we got, now we got this. Y'all were getting a little plastic. Now we got Xbox. Now we got PS5s. Is there anything else I can find that's plastic they didn't have back in the day? They didn't have these. Now we got this. Plastic. Like it's like the evolution of time's crazy.
Bottles, Tupperware, shoes, dolls, garbage bag, plates, bras. People loved plastic, but manufacturers loved it even more. Why? Money. Remember, plastic comes from ethane, and ethane is really cheap. In fact, there's too much of it. Because if you're a fossil fuel company, you want methane. But if you're getting methane, you're also getting ethane. But it's not just that you don't want ethane. Nowadays, you literally have to find a way to get rid of it. You can't really mix it with the methane. You can't just release it out into the atmosphere. There's only so much of it you can legally burn. And if you don't find a way to get rid of this stuff, it becomes a big problem for production.
A lot of governments, including the US government, control how much you can flare. So it might be that you are producing so much ethane that you cannot flare it and you cannot send it down the pipeline. And if you can't sell it, you have to shut down the well. They hate shutting down the well. If there's still methane down there, if there's still oil down there, that's money in the ground. So it doesn't matter if you're making money on the ethane, you just need someone to take it away from you.
And plastic just makes sense. So from the 50s onwards, pretty much anything you could dream of was being made of the wonder material. The possibilities were endless, and the best part is that it would last forever, because plastics basically last forever. That will come up again later. I'm not here to say that all plastic is bad at all times. I'm coming to appreciate that plastic does have a place in society. For example, before the invention of single-use plastic-filled diapers, children used to wear cloth diapers that were meant to be washed and reused. That's okay. We don't have to go back to that one. The problem is how much plastic is made. So what were we gonna—
No, why don't we use a poop sponge? Have y'all seen that on TikTok? That woman is a psychopath.
What do with all this trash? I would love to answer that question, but I do have to do a commercial for a brand real quick. Why would he just interrupt the video like that? Money. Wow, look at this totally normal meal for a college student. I can't wait to eat this and then go about my day.
Goislop will not be eating on my watch. Eating sludge.
That was me about 8 months ago. I noticed that anytime I ate a salty meal, I would get these crazy chest pains and my heart would start beating really fast. And I was totally panicked because I didn't know why it was happening. I thought I was dying. I can feel my heart pounding in my ears. And I kept putting off seeing somebody about it because I was scared to go to the doctor. But it got to a point where it was almost every meal, so I knew I couldn't deny it anymore. I had to go see a doctor.
Yeah, we just got one of these. Well, I don't get them, right? But we just got one. The girl, she was I forgot her name. It was a bad nurse epidemic. They have the same app. I know exactly what that is.
As soon as possible, and that's why I use ZocDoc. Today's video.
Yep, ZocDoc. Here it is.
If you want easy ways to find healthcare providers in your area, ZocDoc is your answer. They have more than 150,000.
They have more. Yeah. Here's the playbook. They have more than 150,000. You can find all the times. You can get it as fast as possible. You don't even have to show them your face. You don't even have to talk to them. Boom! You can click it. As soon as possible, you can get it as fast as possible.
Providers within more than 200 specialties across all 50 states. ZocDoc is free to use and appointments happen fast, usually within 24 to 72 hours. And you can even score same-day appointments. It was great because when I needed it, I found a cardiologist that had an appointment from less than 2 days later. Really though, using it for the first time, I was scared because again, I wasn't feeling very good and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. I should have done this months ago. And I was thinking, like, I really thought I was dying. Also, I thought signing up for the doctors was really complicated because my mother would always complain about things like that. But using ZocDoc was really simple. It couldn't have taken more than 5 minutes maybe. It was nice to have a lot of options as to who I would want to be seen by and like where it would be. Because the cardiologist I chose, I ended up really liking his staff. I liked him. It was a lot less complicated and stressful than I thought it would be. So don't be like I was. It's not that scary. You probably haven't been to the doctors in a while, so you probably need to hurry up and get something like this done. Trust me, it's good for you in the long term. Just do it. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments. If you click the link in the description, you'll be one step closer to understanding what's going on with that
Oops. Let me give it to him. My bad. Some people like to do it. I do it. I mean, I heard it. I heard it's a respect thing. And I'm watching your video. I'm gonna let your ad play. So I'll be back in literally 10 seconds. I'm gonna let it pop up at the bottom if you want to use it. Feel free.
Do it. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments. If you click the link in the description, you'll be one step closer to understanding what's going on with that weird rash that's growing in that really weird crevice. You know the one. Head to ZocDoc.com/DavidAchu and start prioritizing your health today. Thanks so much to ZocDoc for sponsoring this video and helping us all take better care of our health. Plastic is bad for the environment at almost every stage of its lifetime. From the fossil fuel extraction needed to make the plastic, to the greenhouse gas emissions that come from when you actually produce the plastic, to the disposal of plastic, a decent portion of which is just burned afterwards, which also contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. And probably the most annoying part of plastics, especially in the 60s and 70s, is that people would just throw them anywhere. It was in parks, roads, farmlands, lakes, rivers. Plastic also ends up in our oceans, which is bad because as we all know, fish are dumb. And we'll confuse small pieces of plastic floating around as prey, and then they'll eat it. And then we'll eat it when we eat the fish. Did you know that the average American...
Good thing I don't eat fish. But yeah, it does irk my nerves. Anyone like that realistically maybe gum. I don't know if that's biodegradable, but anyone throwing out cigarettes, that throws me. It's like, bro. Number one, you can do whatever you want. Sorry. You can do whatever you want with your body, like the cigarettes. I'm not gonna whine and cry, but when I'm about to, but like I'm not gonna be the whatever, like the guy that's gonna be like, it's just like, bro, like you got him throw, you gotta just fluck him out the window everywhere. You gotta just throw it on the ground, smudge it somewhere. It's just like, bro, like take that crap out, take that crap somewhere else, bro. No one's trying to smell that. I mean, it's whatever. I'm not gonna be the guy. Why? If someone does it around me, I'm like, stop it right now. I'm not gonna try to be no hero. I'm just gonna be like, whatever, right? It's a free world.
Eats about a credit card's worth of plastic every year. That's why I don't order seafood. It eats through my wallet. I'm doing great today. But the planet is a big place. I don't get why we can't just find somewhere to put it.
We have this one planet. We only have
Yeah, why don't we just put it in the middle of the ocean?
so many places that we could put our waste.
I can think of 3 different places we can put our trash right now.
You can't put it in the
We can put it in Afghanistan. Just throw it in the mountains, bro.
ocean. Look what happened.
Sure, obviously.
You can't put it on top of a mountain.
We can't?
They've even tried to put it into a volcano.
I didn't even think of that. We can't?
We have to come up with a better plan.
So we had way too much plastic trash. What could we do to fix the problem? Well, we could have cut
We can make more stuff out of your plastic trash. You'll throw that out. What?
down on plastic production, which would have solved the problem at the source. No, we're never gonna do that. How about we come up with a slogan instead? If you grew up in America after the 80s, you probably grew up learning about the 3 R's. Especially in the 90s and the 2000s, messaging about the benefits of reducing, reusing, and recycling was everywhere.
It's worth it.
It is worth it.
It was on posters, commercials, children's television. They made jingles about it. They talked about it in science class. Did you know that Schoolhouse Rock forced Mitchell Musso to make a De La Soul parody song about it? Obviously, I can't play the whole thing here because Disney will have my head on a pike, but I will play a snippet shortly. However, before I do, I would like to read the lyrics to the first verse because it's written like a conspiracy theorist that's trying to make a connection that simply isn't there. 3. It's a magic number. Yes, it is. It's the magic number. Because 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 6 is 18. And the 18th letter in the alphabet is R. We got 3 R's we're gonna talk about today. Go listen to this song immediately after this video. I assure you, it sounds worse when you sing it.
It's like, yeah, tell me this isn't propaganda. What? It's like if everybody and their mom's telling you to do it, force it down your stomach. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm gonna sit back and look and be like, I think I'm gonna just chill out. Right? This was just straight. Everyone do what you're told.
This song had to have been written in 45 seconds. Recycling ads made it seem like you were fighting for world peace every time you threw a bottle away. I'm being responsible. I'm basically a hero. We treat recycling as if everyone who does it is single-handedly preventing a plastic straw from ending up in a sea turtle's nose. You did it, man! We won! But that slogan is written the way it is for a reason. It's written in order.
Yeah, hold on. We're gonna go back. Hold on. I'm about to cook something up.
Everyone who does it is single-handedly being Recycling ads made it seem like you were fighting for world peace every time you threw a bottle away. I'm being responsible. I'm basically a hero. We treat recycling as if everyone who does it is single-handedly preventing a plastic straw from ending up in a sea turtle's nose. You did it, man! We won! But that slogan...
And the thing is, it's like, yeah, no more plastic straws. Why don't we just use paper straws? And then also metal straws, y'all. Less pollution! It's like, yeah, all right, you're propaganda. Yeah, it's straight propaganda. Like, number one, less. You seriously? How are you gonna make metal straws? Well, first it comes from a warehouse. Well, what do you mean it comes? So no pollution with it? No, well, there's pollution. What? Just don't throw your straws in the middle of the street. Or then don't throw your straws in the trash can if you're that worried about it. And then Well, tell the people to be like, hey, well, we realize there's a lot of plastic. Maybe we separate it and throw the plastic somewhere else.
Is written the way it is for a reason. It's written in order of importance. If you want to help the environment, by far the single best thing you can do is reduce the amount of trash you make. If you don't want the planet to be filled with waste, don't make the waste in the first place. Beyond that, the next best thing you can do is to reuse the waste that you create. And I'm not talking about that 5-minute craft reuse. I turn these bottle caps into jewelry. I'm not doing that.
Now.
I'm a grown man. I don't just own a glue gun. It's kind of crazy how underrated reusing things is. We'll talk about this more later, but Americans have been taught to believe.
Yeah, like you can reuse your water bottle that's made out of metal. I'm an engineer, dog. You could reuse it. Even this is, I mean, it's not weird to say, but if you go like months with it, but you could reuse your Wendy's cup for like a day after and then throw it out. That's what I'll do. I'll throw, like, even say, because I mean I usually drink around the same soda, but like a cup like that, a plastic one, say you just top it off with soda and throw some ice in it. Oh, you don't got to dump it in a glass cup to throw it out. I mean, you could drink your drink and then throw it out. Like, that's one thing. I mean, if you start using it after like a week, it's like, buddy, you're getting weird with it. Like, you're reusing, I guess, right? Why don't we just get a whole bunch of cups from Taco Bell, Wendy's, Burger King, wherever has plastic cups, and we just fill them up. We just put those in our cabinets anymore. We don't need to buy glass anymore.
That reusing things is for poor people. Historically, though, every culture and every people have always reused everything they can.
So, in thinking about ancient Greek sculptors, their favorite material to use was bronze. And the reason that we only have a few of these left, they got melted down to make implements of war. Egyptian kings would wait for previous monuments to maybe fall into a little bit of disrepair, and they would knock them down, and they would use those pieces to build their own monuments. Sometimes the Romans would take their sculptures and they would recarve them into the sculptures of later emperors.
If you grew up in a melanated household, then you know that just because a container that used to hold food is now empty, it does not mean its life is over. I'll be the first to admit this. I used to be embarrassed when we'd have people over and I'd have to explain to them that we used the empty Greek yogurt containers from Costco as cups. Well, I wasn't embarrassed at first. It wasn't until somebody who wasn't in my family came to my home, saw what was happening, explained to me that their family doesn't do this, that it immediately clicked, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's getting a little crazy, right? Like a yogurt as cups. Come on. You got it. Just get a good glass.
Of course, nobody else does.
Just get glass, bro. Just get one pair of glass and just reuse that. Like, that's pushing it. But like, you put like some food in it, fine. But you're using it to drink out of. It's like, dude, you're drinking a gallon of water out of the. You showed a big cut. Showed a big thing from Costco. What are you guzzling down, right? Like, is that the family cup? That's you're talking yogurt this big. Is that the only cup you got? Imagine. No, all jokes aside, but it's like that's a little crazy to me. Walmart sells like those little cheap plastic ones for like $1. Get a couple of those, throw them in the cabinet, just reuse them. You again, well, you might, I don't know which worse, like tap water or bottled water, but like majority of it's not that good for you. So you kind of, like, some people kind of buy water. Some people have filters, which is fine. You reuse your water, recycle, put it in the cup so you don't not drink it out of water bottles, throwing them out. I don't know, but I don't know. To me, hot take: no cold water tastes bad. If your water is a little warm, that's when you taste the difference. If your water is cold, you cannot taste the difference. Sorry.
This looks weird. But looking back, objectively,
that's crazy,
it shouldn't be viewed as weird because we use that container 50.
Buddy. Bro. That's getting crazy. Using a yogurt for a cup is like, bro, you can buy it save up for a week and buy some glass from the plastic from the plastic store. I mean, from the dollar store. You can find some cups in there. Just get like 5 of them. You don't need to reuse yogurt. Like, if you're gonna reuse it and use it for leftovers, like spaghetti or something like noodles or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like a pretty big cup. I mean, it's a cup. Like you're using that for water is a little crazy for me.
Times longer than it was intended to be used. We saved them from going into a landfill prematurely. That is, of course, until I put it in the microwave and it became immediately unusable,
Yeah,
because of
right?
course it was. It was a Greek yogurt plastic container. It can't handle that heat. But sometimes, despite your best efforts, you end up with plastic that you just don't know what else to do with. Then, and only then, is when the last R comes in. Recycling. The idea that some company or organization could take your trash and turn it into anything your heart desires. It's the most magical of the 3 R's. Magical in the sense that it's not real. That isn't to say recycling doesn't work for anything. There are actually a number of materials that recycle rather well. Aluminum, for example, is considered infinitely recyclable, meaning you can recycle it over and over and over again and it won't break down in quality. In fact, of all aluminum that has ever been produced, 75% of it is still in circulation today. Now, you compare that to plastic that actually breaks down every time you recycle it. And of all the plastic that's ever been produced, 70% of it has been discarded. In fact, generous estimates
How reusable is those stupid ass paper straws they were giving us?
say that only 10% of all plastic has ever been recycled once, and only 1% ever gets recycled twice. I think the main thing that makes recycling super difficult is that it doesn't arrive at the facility in perfect condition, organized by color and material. It comes in one gray blob, and there is almost surely animal and or human feces in the mix. And even the stuff that isn't fecal matter, a good portion of those materials shouldn't be in that pile. Recycling rules get so confusing because, first of all, you need to know what type of plastic it is, because not all plastics can even be recycled. Second, did you know you have to clean the plastic before you put it in the bin? Some packaging materials...
Yeah, what do you mean I can't have some leftover cigarette butts at the bottom of it?
Even if it has the recycling symbol on the front, some recycling plants can't accept it. And I would love to sit here and tell you all the...
That's what I'm saying. There's a whole bunch of it. They're not... This one's clean, this one's clean. They're like, dude, throw all that shit in the trash. I'm not using
ins and
that.
outs of what can and can't be recycled. I really wanted to make it work. I come up with a bit where I was gonna get a scroll and be like, hear ye, hear ye. I can't do that because recycling rules change everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's a new set of instructions. The ones in my area are different from the ones in your area and the next guy's area and the next guy after that. And despite all that effort, most plastics just end up in a landfill or being...
Who would have thought?
Burned in an incinerator. So how did we come up with such an ineffective system? Well, to understand that, you're gonna have to... So you're pretending you're this businessman from the 50s and you work in the plastic industry and your entire job is just to make money. You know, one of the reasons life sucks now is because you can't own anything anymore because everything is a subscription. Sure, I could make some money selling you something once. I could make more money if I sold it to you once a month for the rest of your life. But how am I gonna get you to buy more plastic? I just spent all this money advertising how durable it is and how it basically lasts forever. People know you don't need any more plastic. What am I supposed to... What if I just told you the opposite? Imagine you're in a room with the most boring old white men that you can think of, and then the main old white guy is in the center, and he's like, okay guys, if we want to make money, we have to convince the public to throw away the plastic. And everybody was like, what's this guy talking about? And the main guy is still up front, he's all like, you guys, listen! Glass and metal are expensive and heavy and breakable, but plastic is made of oil, so obviously it costs basically nothing. And then one guy raises his hand and he's like, wait, I thought oil was basically like black gold and every country on earth is fighting for it literally all the time. And the main guy's like, shut up, it's not important. Nobody knows how both those things are true. This is just the way the world works. It's light, it's cheap, and we have more than enough to sell. If we can just convince them to throw away the plastic stuff they already have, I promise you we will all make so much money. And remember, that's your job. That scenario wasn't really an exaggeration.
Yo, Shive, reuse this, y'all. Reduce, reuse. I sometimes I do keep these though. Like I will use it if I ever need them. I'm not gonna throw them out because they're good. I'll use these, but I don't really do that. I usually just...
At a 1956 annual conference for the plastics industry, Lloyd Stouffer, an editor of a trade magazine, literally told plastic executives their future is in the trash can. But there was a problem. This was the 50s. These people lived through the Great Depression, where they used dresser drawers as baby cribs, and they made the most insane recipes with any food they could find. You know that one guy on TikTok from 3 years ago who used to make all those recipes from the 30s? Yep. That was Depression food. Not the feeling, the time period. Although you may confuse it to be the same thing, because they couldn't afford fruit, so when they made apple pies, it wasn't with apples, it was with crackers and water. This era of Americans was not used to the idea that you buy something, use it one time, and immediately get another one. That would be like if I
they throw straight propaganda at your face.
invited you over for dinner and we were eating off glass plates, and at the end of the night you asked me if I want you to put your plate in the sink, and I just told you, nah, just throw it away. What are you talking about? And again, you were just telling the public how plastic is basically indestructible. So why would they just want to get rid of it? So the plastic industry had to make new ads that were basically like,
okay, forget everything we just said about plastic, okay? It's not that great. It's cheap, and we have an endless supply of it. So after you use it, just throw it out, okay? If you eat off of it, if you drink out of it, if you look at it too hard, just throw it out. It's fine.
but isn't that kind of wasteful?
Come on, man. All the cool kids are doing it.
For decades, Americans had a
Yeah, let's get all the celebrities to do whatever is told. All right, captains. Oh, I'm gonna throw my plastic now. Yes, because the celebrity told me I'm gonna do it. Have fun.
make it do or do without mentality. Our new throwaway culture felt...
I guarantee it looked stupid and sounded stupid. But, like, I'm just saying that people are brainwashed. It's whatever.
...in love with single-use plastics and didn't worry about the consequences.
Being disposable, there are no empties to collect. Vinyl and asbestos on the floor.
In fresh sun, sea, and sky colors.
So people started throwing stuff away. Everywhere. It was too much stuff. Littering was now becoming a bigger problem following the rise of single-use plastics, which combined with other environmental concerns led to one of the biggest environmental movements in modern history.
This is a CBS News special. Earth Day.
A day set aside for a nationwide outpouring of mankind seeking its own.
One day we're gonna stop and throwing out plastics, but tomorrow I will throw a cigarette butt on the ground.
Survival.
April 22nd, 1970 was the world's first Earth Day. A time for people in some of the most confusing pieces of attire and hairstyles that the human race had ever seen up to that point in their history gathered together to discuss issues hurting the environment. And of the many issues, one of the issues on the docket was plastic waste. In fact, you start to hear talk that maybe plastic should be banned altogether. But again, you're a businessman in the plastics industry. If your product gets banned, you can't make any more money. That's your one job. You're blowing this. But you, as a businessman, maybe you take a second to realize maybe enough's enough.
Yeah, you take a second and realize, so you snap them back into reality and be like, hush, hush, we don't care what you talk about. I make the moves, you shut up. We're gonna do it my way.
Your decisions have negatively impacted the planet. You've made more money than you could ever hope to spend in your lifetime. Maybe it's time that the plastics industry goes to rest. You retire. Maybe spend more time with your wife and the kids. Maybe this is a good thing after all. Maybe it's time to call it quits and let the packaging industry go back to its more sustainable practices. I'm kidding, it's time to plot! And what do we do every time we need the public to change their opinion immediately for our own benefit? Advertising.
Oh crap, yes. W ad right there.
First off, this man is Italian. Secondly, although this ad may look like it was paid for by some environmental activist group, it was actually produced by Keep America Beautiful, an organization
W ad though, I like it.
Started by the packaging industry like Coca-Cola and Dixie Cups. You know, the people who made the trash. The point of this ad wasn't to stop litter. It was to make it abundantly clear that this littering thing, that's your fault. But aren't you guys the ones that got an entire generation of Americans to start acting like this in the first place? Don't change the subject. You made that Italian man in an almost surely offensive garb cry. Look at what you did. That's a great first step. But if you really want the people to get off your back about a problem, you have to promise them a solution. Give them something to believe in. And so essentially what happened was the equivalent of, I'm sorry guys, this is getting out of hand. The city's gonna have to ban the plastic. No, wait, okay, we'll fix it. Jeez!
A growing backlash was threatening the future of plastic.
So it was up to us in the plastics industry to solve this problem so that they could continue to package their products in plastic.
To appease government officials, the industry funded a local recycling pilot project.
The industry attitude was, we'll set this up and get it going, but if the public wants it, they are going to have to pay for it.
So they invested millions into bringing recycling into the mainstream. But could that even work, technically? The process of turning used used plastic into new plastic is physically possible. The issue is when you have to do it with millions of pounds of plastic. Could this system work at scale? Technically, no, the answer to that one's just no. According to NPR and a paper from the Center for Climate Integrity, internal plastic industry documents from the late 60s and early 70s gave a sterling recommendation to the recycling process. Using faith-strengthening words such as costly, we have serious doubt that it can ever be made viable on an economic basis, and virtually hopeless. The plastics industry knew from the very beginning this was never gonna work, and they did it anyway. Why? Money. Here's the thing. It doesn't actually need to work. It just needs to look like it works. If it'll get the hippies to shut up, sure, we can paint some trash cans blue and put some arrows on it and maybe blow a few mill, building some recycling centers, and we'll run a few...
Yeah, we'll definitely start regulating people that, yeah, dude, you have to have a trash can, and then it has to have that little thing on the side that says recycle only. But the trash can's this big, and it's supposed to be a different trash can, but you're just throwing it out anyways. I'm being safe. I'm being safe. I'm throwing away my plastic in the recycling bin. Little do you know it's going to the landfill, unfortunately.
Ads about it. Is it gonna cost us? Yeah, but it's a lot cheaper than having our entire industry banned or coming up with a solution that would actually work. If someone can prove me wrong, I would welcome you to do so in the comment section. But as far as I can tell, the entire idea of recycling is basically just theater, and you can see it everywhere. For example, a lot of people think that all plastics are recyclable.
Just propaganda.
But they're not. Some types of plastics, no matter what you do, can never be recycled. But you wouldn't know just by looking at it. That wasn't until out of the kindness of their hearts, the lobbying and trade group known as the Society of the Plastics Industry, a loving organization with a not at all nefarious sounding name, proposed a solution to identify which plastics can and can't be recycled. Okay, we've heard there's been a little bit of confusion as to what you can put in the bin, so today we're proposing a new symbol that we're gonna put on all the plastic products so everybody knows exactly what can and can't be recycled. Okay, that actually sounds pretty good. No, that's not cool. No! Is there a problem, sir? That looks...
What the hell is that mean?
It's exactly like the recycling symbol. How dare you? My work is completely original. It's in a triangle shape. I didn't know anybody could own a shape. It has a chasing arrows. My arrows are slimmer. Yeah, but if you squint and look at them both, they pretty much look exactly... Yeah, but mine has numbers in it. You notice that, Einstein? You're so good at pointing things out. You notice that? You know they look the same. Why would you make them look exactly the same? Money. This is the resin identification code. It was invented by Society of the Plastics Industry in 1988. On paper, its purpose is to identify what kind of plastic a thing is made out of. Each type getting a different number. As far as I know, there are 7 RIC numbers, and pretty much only 1 and 2 are widely considered recyclable. But if you didn't know that, why would you just casually know that? Wouldn't you just assume that this means that the thing is recyclable and you...
Good thing during Earth Day they teach you this normally, right?
Put it in the bin and you think recycling is working? The plastics industry lobbied 40 states to get the RIC symbol to look like this. As long as you think it's working, it doesn't matter if it actually is. That's the whole name of the game. But why though? What specifically about recycling is so impossible to get right? Fun fact, when you look up Society of the Plastics Industry on YouTube, one of the first search results is a promo they just released called Recycling is Real. Is it though?
Trash.
Because there's no way she flew a plane. Do you see my point? You hear what I'm saying? Helen can't do either, and you mean to tell me she was navigating the skies? Random question. Would you say you have a decent idea of how a toilet works?
Yeah, she's fake, too.
I feel like most people would say yes. It's a toilet, you know, you push a thing, water comes out, seems pretty simple. Okay, cool. Here are all the parts. Build a toilet. I saw somebody say this as a good example of showing that people don't really know how most things work. Even things that seem relatively simple. You put all the pieces in front of them, the average person doesn't understand how a lot of things work. With that being said, do you feel you have a good idea of how recycling works? I'll be honest, I thought you just melted it and then shaped it again, but the process has like 17,000 steps. Because you can't just put all the plastics...
Yeah, you're gonna have less pollution, everything's gonna be great if you recycle, but little do you know, you gotta get a vehicle that is running off of what? You're saying it runs off gas? What does that mean? No, no, we're only gonna do e-vehicles. That's not gonna... What? Wait, how do you make the car? From a factory? Oh no. So, either way you look at it, it's pollution everywhere. But, say you use regular vehicles, gas vehicles or diesel, whatever you like to use, you ship them off, they drive to the thing, they drive here, they drive here. It's like, well, no pollution, but, well, every truck and every machinery is running off gas and diesel. I don't think there's any pollution going on either.
into one big vat and melt it down. They all have different properties and different melting temperatures. If you did that, you would just end up with a bunch of useless goop. So first you have to create recycling centers and a recycling program for a given area. Then you need to inform the people about what can and cannot go into the recycling bin, which is pretty much a useless step because no matter what you do, people are going to put anything they want in the bin.
Very surprised what people think is recyclable.
You name it, eventually it'll be found in it.
A pool table.
Big propane tanks.
Needles.
A neck brace.
We've had guns, ammunition, fireworks, sparklers.
I had a live snake.
After you pick it up, you have to do your best to separate the non-recyclables from the rest of the mix, and you have to clean them and treat them and process them. All of that just to get recycled plastic, a material that is less durable and more expensive than virgin plastic. From an economic and practical standpoint, this process makes almost no sense. You can sit there and say, it shouldn't matter, we should do this for the good of the planet. Unless you're gonna do it, or you're gonna fork up the cash to get somebody else to, it's not getting done. As Vidya Mani said when speaking about just the separation process, unless someone's paying for it, the plastic's going to the landfill. So you may be wondering, surely there was a point in time when recycling kind of worked at least a little bit? Technically? Yes. Seeing the monstrous problem before them, the best and brightest American minds of that generation came up with a solution that, at least from an economic standpoint, was viable. Describing it with the gravitas it deserves, it was the equivalent of... There we go. Yep. Shh, it's okay. You're okay. It's okay. We just gave all our trash to China. I'm sorry, how does this work? It's simple. We pick up the recyclables, put them on trucks, bring them to recycling centers. They'll organize them, crush them, turn them into bricks. We'll put those bricks onto different trucks, drive them to the coast, sell them to the Chinese, and then load them onto cargo ships. And once the ships reach China, they'll take the bricks, give them to low-wage workers to organize them and turn them into new stuff. And when it's all said and done, for every dollar we spend on this process, we will earn $1.01, which is more money than when we started. Okay. And that's how recycling worked in America for over 25 years. But it wasn't just the US. According to
You giving it to China? What are you giving our stuff to China for, son?
NPR, 70% of the world's plastic waste was being sent to China. And China was getting a slight profit out of this, but that profit was being outweighed by all the other indirect costs that came with this recycling program. Because we never actually solved the problem of littering and handling the trash properly. We just gave the problem to a different country.
These sorting facilities in China would often illegally dump the portion of the plastics that even they couldn't profitably recover.
Hey, as long as it ain't hurt me, I ain't there. As long as it ain't hurt me. No, I'm kidding. That's definitely not good. I mean, yeah, it's just there's no way to deal with this. Just burn it. Just burn it all.
Creating an environmental problem that the government had to pay to clean up.
Martin Borque, I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, executive director of the Ecology Center in Berkeley, California, once put a tracker in a bale of waste sent to China just to see what would happen to it. And when it touched mainland and they got in contact with the locals that were near where the tracker was placed, they found that it was just littered. On top of that, remember how people will recycle anything, including hazardous materials? Well, it turns out that those materials were causing hazard to the Chinese workers who were sorting them. After a while, the Chinese government must have reasoned to itself, maybe destroying our country's lakes and giving people occasional anthrax poisoning isn't worth $17 of profit. So they banned the import of pretty much all plastic waste in 2018 with no warning. To which the waste management industry calmly responded, what am I supposed to do with all this? Once China stopped taking it, we didn't have many options on where to put it. Imagine you were taking your trash out for the week and the garbage man just said, no! And then drove away. You then have two options. Create a pile in the backyard or set it on fire. And that's exactly what we've done for the past 8 years. I really tried to verify this stat, and
we should make a drug out of it. So people smoke the trash and we can get rid of it. Let's think about it. Let's make some type of drug out of trash. People smoke it and then get rid of it. Boom. I think I might come up with something. I don't know.
Could be wrong, but as far as I know, when you recycle something, most of the time it just ends up in a landfill or in an incinerator because there's just no money to do anything else with it. And I would love to sit here and say there is a solution and that they're working on something that's gonna work in the next few years. But as far as I know, right now at this current moment, this is all recycling is. Almost every solution I read about when researching this video is either going to hurt the environment more or it's gonna cost way too much money. Even when something says it's made of recycled plastics, I'm pretty sure in most cases it just ends up looking something like this. So you promise that when I put a plastic bottle in
it's like crap.
The bin, you turn it into another plastic bottle just like new? Absolutely. In fact, I have one right here. That is not the same thing. I'm doing the can! Downcycling is when a recycled product isn't as good quality as when it was first made. For example, a food-grade plastic that gets recycled is no longer good enough quality for food packaging, and so it becomes part of like a plastic bench or something. Okay, but I saw a TikTok of a mad scientist fellow who was turning plastic into fuel. Why can't they just do that? Technically, as far as I know,
didn't even start the car up when he did it.
that process is called pyrolysis, and it is possible. Because, like, plastic is made from oil, so...
I mean, like, what the hell is he gonna do with all... I mean, what is he gonna do with all the oil?
So couldn't you do some science stuff to maybe turn it back into oil? I don't get it, but it is scientifically possible. So why don't they do it? According to the TikTok comment section of that video, it's because the CEO of Exxon will personally 360 no-scope this guy if he ever goes to market. That's not why. Then why not? Money.
Nah, he won't. He's a good guy, trust me, bro.
Again, could you build a toilet? At scale, the process of pyrolysis costs way too much economically and environmentally. As far as doing it for plastics at least, it just doesn't make much sense. Besides that, the process of this and other forms of advanced recycling generates a lot of hazardous waste. According to the NRDC, they once observed that an advanced recycling plant, also known as a chemical recycling plant, created almost 500,000 pounds of hazardous waste in 2019 alone. In addition, these plants produce air pollution, which poses a health risk to nearby neighborhoods. Neighborhoods that...
No, it isn't. I want to smell trash, y'all.
Tend to be made of low-income, non-white people. As a result, these neighborhoods lose even more of their value, and due to the health risks that come with being so close to one of these facilities, it turns these areas into what ProPublica described as sacrifice zones. And on top of that, a lot of these advanced recycling plants just end up burning the plastic. However, none of that
just start burning meth in the air and see what happens.
Will stop the plastics industry from saying they're doing it. Because again, it barely matters that it's not working. As long as people think it could, they're not going to get mad at us.
Innovation in American...
As long as that happens, as long as they put it in people's faces, they dingle the little string. Dance for me. Dance for me. Oh, go on now. Tell them that recycling's going to the trash can. Boom. You see that on TikTok. You see your favorite influencer doing it. You see the people around, not around you. Yeah, kind of around you doing it. It's like, oh, yes, it's working. It's a real thing that's happening. Uh-huh. Well, really look into it. What do you mean they're all just burning it into a dang chamber of chemicals or plastic and trash? They're just burning it, lighting on fire. They're recycling it. They're making more plastic.
Plastics means reducing, reusing, and...
She's AI generated.
Manufacture.
So you recycle.
Well, yeah, we manufacture recycled plastic. That's how we stay competitive.
And it's better for the environment.
And it's better for business.
And none of these people ever put a helmet on and actually worked a day in their life.
How?
It's the way of the future. The U.S. has to keep up.
First off, this ad was made by America's Plastic Makers, and on their website, they will tell you that they are part of the plastics division of the American Chemistry Council and their member companies, which include Chevron, Dow, Exxon, and Shell. The companies that make the oil that make the plastic. Secondly, he never answered her question. Am I the only one that peeped that?
And it's better for the environment.
And it's better for business.
How?
It's the way of the future.
I've seen this ad 1 billion times, and I've noticed that detail every single time. Like, that was a question.
It's like a fake AI generated trash ad.
She was asking, and he just ignored it and talked about the business of it. Am I insane? That's what just happened.
Now you're good.
Recycling yesterday's plastic because it was made to be more.
It's not, though. It's made to be one thing, one time for 30 seconds, and then spend the next 1,000 years polluting a river in Taiwan. And I think all these ads and messaging and borderline propaganda just...
Don't worry, Mr. Beast will save the day, y'all.
...serves to confuse people on what's actually happening with their trash, i.e., the propaganda is working. Laura Leebrook, a manager of a recycling plant in Oregon, explained that when she tries to tell people that recycling doesn't work, they don't want to believe her. Because the truth is, we need recycling. Not because it fixes any problem, it's because it removes this guilt. It's kind of like when you get those ads for children's cancer hospitals and you can't skip it because you have to wait 5 seconds, so before you can, you try not to make eye contact with the sick child in the video. It's kind of like that. We don't want to be confronted with the fact that American consumption is disgusting. We need something to believe in. It's a reason to feel that we're not destroying the planet with our insatiable greed. It doesn't have to actually work. I just need to believe that I'm doing something so I can sleep at night. If I just put the bottle in the blue bin, I don't have to be confronted with the fact that that bottle is going to sit somewhere for the next 700 years. If I don't have to
Doesn't matter if it's in their ocean, right?
look at it, it's almost as if it doesn't exist anymore. Don't take that from me.
Recycling, it's one of those things where...
Number one, right? It doesn't matter because it's not inconvenient. You take it out every Friday. It's not my problem. I took out the trash. I don't know, you know.
Where not only does the public kind of depend on that emotionally to relinquish their, guilt about buying things, but it has been kept alive by the manufacturers.
Ultimately, though, anytime we spend placing the blame solely on the individual is when the propaganda has fully accomplished its work. Yes, American consumption is killing us, but who sold the poison? Corporations are the ones that invested in plastic. Corporations are the ones that convinced Americans to buy more plastic than they could ever need. Corporations are the ones that blamed consumers for a littering problem that they created. Corporations are the ones that pushed and promoted a solution.
You ever heard of someone giving you the problem? Wait, no. Yeah, giving you the problem and also selling you the solution? I think that's in time, it's not, I don't know how that's exactly how you say it, but it's everywhere. That goes with the beauty care, that goes with the food care. Oh my gosh, these Cheetos are absolutely, and all this food's absolutely killing your insides and killing you. I'm gonna show you Better Goods. That's a more bland name, but it's Better Goods. Trust me. There's no artificial oils in there, right? There's none of that. Until you flip out the back and realize, what are these chemicals? There's none of that. So it's like they sell you this, they sell you the problem, then they sell you the solution.
They knew would never work.
Makeup's the same way. Oh my god, skincare, right? This stuff is making me break out. Why is my face acting like this? It's not always, but again, your face depends on certain situations. Will just break out naturally, but they sell you the solution, and then they sell you the problem. Sell you the solution, sell you the problem. Sell you the solution, sell you the problem. Sell you the problem, sell you the solution. X, Y, and Z.
Corporations are the ones that paint themselves as the heroes and innovators solving a crisis that they created while ultimately not coming up with any scalable solutions, all the while creating more plastic. Lisa Ramsden of Greenpeace USA says the plastics industry intends to triple plastic production by 2050. The takeaway from this discussion isn't that we shouldn't be doing what we can. We should all still be reducing, reusing, and then when all else fails, recycling, because a bad solution is better than no solution. But the real takeaway is this: no matter what any
I think I want a plastic car now.
company, ad campaign, children's media, catchy jingle, or industry group tries to tell you, this conversation isn't just solely about how much you love the planet.
What do you mean? My favorite TikToker told me that, and my favorite YouTuber.
This whole conversation has always been about money. And although it technically exists, and I'm by no means an expert, I'm pretty sure recycling isn't real.
He convinced me. I don't think it is either. I think it's an idea. That's what I think it is. I think it's an idea, but it's hardly ever where we hardly ever see the full example of it. I think it's an idea that they thought was better than what it is. They sold you something that undersold. That's what I think it is. Oh, everything's recyclable. Yeah, buy it all. It's recyclable. Again, we have the solution to your problem already, right? We already know what recycling is. We're gonna sell you all this crap plastic that won't be able to be recycled, but we're gonna sell. We'll be able to recycle it. It's fine. Yeah, buy five different plates. Throw them out every 3 months. Why not? Boom. So yeah, I think it was a whole bunch of propaganda. They convinced an entire generation that the solution to plastic pollution was individual responsibility. That is one of the greatest PR victories in corporate history. Yeah, but they said it in school. They hit you with it immediately. They didn't even let you get a different opportunity. They hit you with it immediately. I'm a Palomar chemist. Completely biodegradable plastic exists, and there's many can be made from reusable or bio-based. I don't know. Okay, that's cool. It all comes down to the money we're cooked. Yeah, probably. I love that money, and technically, with things recyclable through throughout the video was not the only funny, but it was also fit the theme of the video. Yeah. Recycling is a fairy tale for adults. Yes. I see the math of how cheap it is to make new plastic, but the opposite of recycling. Yes. Fully right. Someone realized this a couple years ago, and I'm always here for it. Oh, well, it's just a great so-called conspiracy theory. It's not really if you once after this, like, I had it in my feed for about 2 or 3, 4 days, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be a interesting video. And dude, 100%, I like this. This really convinced me. I give it to him. I don't think it's real. The world when it turns to be an adult. Yeah, I used to work at McDonald's, and they accomplished. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Bin system or complex. I don't know. Facing where people were supposed to separate all the rubbish from the UK. It is all gets taken to the back and put in one big garbage bin. Yeah, we know. We've all seen it on TikTok. The ones that I said it a million times, that have the either the 2 or the 3, recycling only, cans only, and it's just all in one big bin. It's like they don't care. They got you though. They made you feel like you did it. That's all that matters, right? That's all that matters. Great video. He will be in the link description. Hit the link, follow up on all the socials, like the video, subscribe. He will be in the rotation. Once I find more of his videos and do some research and look at what he got, he definitely will be in the rotation. Great video.